The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah! Go Cowboys!
Blowing out of the backfield, exploding down the sideline.
This is Hangin' with the Boys, presented by Wingstop, where flavor gets its wings. Now, your hosts, Nate Newton, Kurt Daniels, Jesse Holley, and Shannon Gross.
Yeah, we are back, baby, for another episode of Hangin' with the Boys. You're now looking at a live look at the Tostitos Championship Plaza. And if you see something out there, you're looking at this sentence saying, what is that, Jesse? What's happening? Well, for those of you who've been living under a rock, tomorrow, the hated, I would say hated, the most hated Cowboy hater is coming to town.
Yes.
And he's bringing his show. Stephen A. Smith and ESPN's First Take will be here on site in the Star in front of the Ford Center doing their show. So they're having everybody come out for that. The show starts at 9 o'clock. Was it 9 o'clock? Yeah, 9 to 11.
Yeah.
Molly's going to be there. Michael Irvin's going to be there. Your boy. You
popping on?
No, they haven't asked for a true debater of me and Jesse's ilk to step into their world.
Oh, yeah, they don't want that. They don't want that. Today is a cloudy 84 degrees. It's a little,
I'm loving it.
You loving it?
Oh, rain?
Rain?
My yard was looking like a desert, man, like I was going through Arizona desert. Wow, I'm glad they got a few green spots.
But yeah, come out. You could be a part of the show tomorrow. So if you're in town or want to be a part of the show, and you can come out on the plaza and be a part of the show. Now, this is the part I want to bring up before we get into, like, real football. Because a lot of people, when you look at, they say, oh, that's First Fake. Or they say, whatever the skip show is, right? They talk about how these things are so fake.
Right.
And how you have a host of fans that despise Stephen A. Smith and ESPN and how they cover the Cowboys. Then you have another group of fans that are always saying, well, Jerry's so Hollywood, all he cares about is money, all he cares about is marketing. When is he going to get serious about football? We need the Joneses out and a new regime in. So you have one fan on one side who hates the show.
Yeah.
You have another fan on the other side who talks about the Joneses only being about money. But this place will be packed tomorrow. So which one is it?
I'm going to tell you
which one is it?
It is
the train wreck.
It's the love for the Cowboys.
Shannon has truly Shannon's head's big as hell. He's truly no, I'm sorry, Nate. I apologize. Shannon, these headphones are like even with my hair.
I tried to tell y'all. I don't want to say that.
Like I keep pushing them down, hoping they'll get tighter. Shannon has stretched these. Golly, sorry, Nate. Go ahead.
I'm one of those people that are so caught up in the Cowboys since I've been that way since 10, 11 years old. Two, you always seeing the stars of shining light, but you hate it because there's not enough wins behind it. Mm-hmm. So you want to attack
except for the ones that you have.
Yeah, no, that's way past.
Yeah.
Except for let's get rid of the Joneses. That's why the star is shining so bright because of the Joneses.
True.
But you look at the Stephen A's who love Mr. Jones but hate his product, but he got it out there with the grip on top of with a grip, depending on how you looking at it. You see what I'm saying? So that is what they're looking at, Jess.
Yeah.
And that we want so bad to have those 12 wins along with the second appearance because let's be real, second appearance into the playoffs with a possible victory, we craving for that. And that's all we need. And then we'll start to love Stephen A. Even if Michael is even hated now because he's connected with Stephen A.
And then he says stuff like, this team, if they clean up the penalties, can be compared to the 72 Dolphins.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I love Michael. Yeah. But I'm telling you, he got to have his own marketing crew that says, okay, what have I not done to explode Cowboy Nation all over? He's the reason they hate the Joneses because he'll say, what can I do to just make the fans go wild?
Mm-hmm. Those guys are playing to the extremes.
Yeah. And to his defense. He clarified it this morning. He was on the local radio here, 105.3 The Fan, and he clarified it. He was saying Michael just basically said if everyone is holding penalties at such a high regard, as if like penalties are the end-all be-all. He's saying if they're held at such high regard, then if we eliminate them, then we should be competing like the 72 Dolphins. So that's what he was saying about about that comment. But
so he went and got back with his company. Okay, now we're going to reframe because great politicians do that.
They back. He was backpedaling better than Deion Sanders on that one. All right. So we're done with the first take, done with the first take, and we're going to get into some semi-real football, right? Because it's real football, but it ain't real football because we're going into the last preseason game. The Cowboys had a live practice yesterday. It was a packed house, as always. Jerry puts on a great show. Cheerleaders were there, but you got a chance to kind of see some,
It's funny how we just knocked Mr. Jones and all of a sudden come back and say, yeah, Jerry put on a great show.
He's going to put on a show. We know two things about Jerry Jones. He's going to put on a show and he's going to put on a party.
Ringling Brothers ain't got nothing on Mr. Jones.
The number just came out again. The Cowboys worth $8 billion.
Wow.
He don't do nothing else. He's going to put on a show.
Can we get some headphones for Jesse because Shannon is stretched? If they made $8 billion, we can at least spend 10.
Yeah. But the Cowboys take on the Seattle Seahawks this Friday and the last and final preseason game this morning. And here's been the talk all year long. And everybody is on multiple sides of these fences. You're either on the side of this is football, these are football players, they're going to play football. Or you're on the side of, yes, it's football, we're going to play football, but only a certain guys are going to play football. Mm-hmm. And you look across the league, look at teams and say, well, Andy Reid, who has a Super Bowl, been to 3 or 4 AFC championship games, he says that in my first 2 preseason games, I'm going to play the highest paid quarterback in the National Football League for a couple, 2-3 series. Yeah. Josh Allen, who most people have him as being preseason MVP of the league, who has turned that franchise around in Buffalo, he played. But then you come to the Dallas Cowboys and you see nothing from game 1 with Dak Prescott. You see nothing. And not only in game 1, it was about 18, 20 guys didn't play.
Oh, yeah.
Game 2, sprinkled in a little bit more of the starters, but a lot of guys still didn't play.
Yeah.
And now the new NFL is you don't have 4 preseason games because this used to be the dress rehearsal back in the day when Nate and I was playing to get ready for the season.
Yeah.
Well, it's come out that, Dak's not going to play, Zeke's probably not going to play, and the host, Michael's not going to play, and a host of other guys are not going to play. So my question to you, Nate, to you, Kurt, is where do you stand? And I'll go with you first, Nate. Where do you stand on the sense of should guys like Zeke, like Dak, like Micah, like Trayvon Diggs, should they be playing in some of these football games, these preseason football games, and does it have its advantage? Or what is the disadvantage?
It's all advantage. You get a series or 2. You run some plays that, you would like to see that practice well. Just run those plays, very simple plays. Let Zeke get banged. Let Dak get a little rhythm. Whether it's good or bad, don't make a difference. Give your team a chance just to go out there. The disadvantage is don't come to the first game because what Andy Reid's saying, I don't want the first game to be where you miss 35 tackles. I don't want the first game to be, oh, man, we got 17 penalties, so I guess we ain't going to the Super Bowl. We don't need that. Just give them a taste of just a taste. And even though we say preseason don't mean nothing, it's still a game that is a little bit faster than the practices they've been doing. Now, barring what they showed in San Diego, that was pretty up-tempo. Word I get yesterday, they were pretty up-tempo. But I just like to do that dress rehearsal. However small it is, just a little bit of it. It's all advantage to me.
Now, Kurt, a lot of guys are saying, and a lot of guys or pundits, whoever you want to put it, are saying that, the new model is less preseason game or less guys playing in preseason games and more of these joint practices where
That's a great thing.
Where we could control it, where it's still live, it's still tempo, but it ain't a game. Like. Does that have an advantage of having these these inter squad scrimmages, so to speak, because you're not tackling to the ground. You're not touching the quarterback.
Right.
All those things are still kind of a part of the game that you're taking away from it. So is there an advantage to that opposed to actually playing these guys in these live scrimmages?
Well, I think the joint practices are a good thing for the most part. Now, Denver got a little out of hand where it's kind of a mess, but I think the Chargers was a good workout. The problem is that it was last week. So by the time they hit the field on September 11th, it's nearly a month since they've faced another team, since they've had what you might call an aggressive practice where they've maybe really hit. I think I'm not a player. I'm not out there getting banged up, but to me, I think they need that time on the field, even if it's just a series or two, like you said. They need that time to get ready.
Yeah. If you're the Rams, perfect. If you're the LA Chargers, when you look at their roster, perfect. But when you're the Dallas Cowboys, who is your left guard? Who is your second receiver? Who is your third receiver? More importantly, who is your fourth receiver?
Well, even with that, I think even like Dak, I think he needs –
That's what I'm saying.
There's a different speed to the game when it's you're actually out there playing. I think those guys at least need a little bit of time to,
See, and that is all pointing towards Dak because all of that is connected to the puppet man. He the puppeteer. He the one leading on pulling all these strings. And if he ain't getting any work with these guys, barring the controlled practices, it's too many questions to be answered to take anything for chance. And you can't tell me you taking the chance of him getting hurt when you don't know who your left guard is, or we as a public don't know. They may know, but we as a public don't know. They haven't worked together consistently, one group. So you still going to go into the first game and possibly the second game figuring out who these guys are.
Mm-hmm. And for me, I think with the way that this thing has been structured, because and at times I got the gray hairs like in the side here and a little bit of my beard, and I'm not as much as Nate. And Kurt, you cover yours up pretty well. But I get to be the old man, get off my lawn, because I go back when I played. Yeah. For 100 years, the game of football has been played at a very aggressive rate, and there were 3 days. And there were 2 days, and there were full pads, and there weren't a day off every 3 days. And guys made it out just fine.
Yeah.
And guys made it out just fine. Now, granted, you had some injuries here and there. Football, for those that don't know, is a 100% hurt sport. A 100% injury rate sport. Mm-hmm. You're not going to play football and not be hurt. It's all a matter of how hurt are you, or how injured are you. You're going to get banged up in this sport. It's inevitable. It's no way around that. But I think we've kind of almost conceded, and I don't think this Cowboy teams, or many teams in the National Football League, are good enough to, when I say concede, is they'll say, you know what, I'll take the first couple games of the season and we'll work the kinks out then. I don't think this team is good enough. Now, they haven't shown me anything. Again, if you say the Rams, okay, well, they just came out of a Super Bowl, right? A lot of returning starters. Or you see a veteran team like Buffalo, or Tampa Bay, or teams
the whole
like that,
AFC West
who showed you consistency throughout their years, at least relatively recently years. But to kind of almost say that we're going to use these first couple of games, Tampa, Cincy,
Washington, New York,
to kind of work through things, you lose one or two of those, and then now, like we always do, we get to mid to late December, and we saying, boy, we sure could have used that victory earlier in the year. Boy, it come down to now, we tied with so-and-so, but they got a game ahead of us because we lost to conference.
You're going down the right trail, Jess.
So when you look at things like that, I personally look at it and go, man, I would love to see, some of these guys get some reps. But and I think you build a little bit. When I see certain guys, I'm like, why is he not playing?
Yeah, I mean, I would think in some ways they're so worried about not getting guys hurt now that they're not ready for when it
Washington
starts.
Went down.
So then they're getting hurt then.
Washington went down.
Yeah.
You got Jay Lou that's out. You got CeeDee Lamb missing cut. Let me say this right here. Jesse went down the right trail. That was so great. Everything we play except Cincinnati in the first 5 or 6 games is all NFC, whether it's in the division, but it's in our conference.
Mm-hmm.
So we get 10 games out, and we all sitting here, me, you, Shannon, and my man Jesse, and you, and we're like, okay, if this guy win and this guy lose and this guy win, and I'm like, oh, okay. Did you think about that when we played the Bucs, or did you think about that when we played Washington early, New York early? Did you think about that?
Yeah, and the more and more you look across this division, I would say January, February, if you were foreshadowing to what the season was going to be in 2022, 2023, you would say, oh, the Cowboys are going to walk through this division. Look how bad the Giants are. And look at over there and what Washington is. And, and then now you fast forward to less than a month away from the season, you're going, outside of quarterback, Philadelphia looks damn good. Yeah. The Giants finally got good front office people and a good head coach, and things may have turned a corner there, and who knows what Washington will be.
All they have to do is play for one another. Washington missing one thing, that's unity. That's bonding, believing in one another. Mm-hmm. If they ever start believing in one another, you're looking at a different team altogether. They're a bunch of individuals right now.
Yeah. Do you think today's players feel like they're ready when the regular season comes? Like, or are they kind of like, oh man, I just got hit? Is it a shock to? Because I think I can't remember who said it. One of your old teammates was like, I was in the best shape I was in all year was the starting training camp, and the worst shape I was in was at the end of training camp. But they were prepared for the physical nature of what was going to come week one. Are these guys? Do they feel prepared that way?
It took them like a week and a half to get their pad level low because everybody trying not to hit heads with these things on. And I've been saying it for years, and I'm going to keep saying it. You go from 0 to 100. Now, you don't think you're going to have some hammies and some blown knees because you took – we're going to get acclimated. How do you get acclimated to pads when you never have on the pads? You get what I'm saying? Then you put on the pads and you go 2 days in a row hitting maybe 45 minutes out of an hour and a half, 2-hour practice, maybe hitting 45 minutes. Then you off the third day, totally off.
And I'll say this before we go to break. When you look at like boxers and you look at MMA fighters, right? They do this thing like I think it's called like shinning.
Right.
Is where they like roll their shins and they because they are conditioning their bodies before the fight to take on that type of hurt.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think this, even in boxing, you do certain things, or you hitting certain things because I need to get my core right so that when that body blow hit me, I'm able to absorb it so that my body is not a shock to my body. Right. In football, you're asking these guys to say, the acclimation period, we don't do pads, and like Nate said, you go from 0 to 100, and if your body isn't used to, like Dak has not felt a single hit.
Yeah.
Since early January against the Niners.
None of those skilled guys have they?
So your body is basically saying, okay, I know the hurt that comes along with this, but I need to get I don't even know, like the trauma or whatever it is to it, to get the bruising, to get used to it. So that it's not such a huge shock when you got to play the game. But we'll dive more into training camp, preseason, because guys, we are at preseason game number 3, and at this point in time, and Kurt, you gave us this beforehand. You gave us this roster.
Yeah,
we got to get down. After this week, we got to go from 80 to 53.
Yep.
And so we talk a little bit about what that means in the preseason. Are there still battles? Do the coaches already know? Is the team made? And maybe what some battles that we should watch in this last week of practice in this preseason game on Friday. So come on back with this, man. Hanging with the boys.
Star Sports Tours is the only official fan travel partner of the Dallas Cowboys, offering exclusive game weekend travel packages with pregame sideline access and photo ops with current players, cheerleaders, and Cowboy legends. You want to stay at a team hotel, attend the best tailgate party in Texas, tour the Star, and talk X's and O's with me, Everson Walls? With Star Sports Tours, you can. Visit cowboystravel.com to book your travel package today.
Brace yourself for an existential question. Has your butt been having enough fun lately? Have you been treating it well? Has it been going places? If not, then it's about time you start using SeatGeek. SeatGeek is the best way to get your butt tickets to live events. Just ask the thousands of other butts who have rated it the #1 ticketing app. So what are you waiting for? Download the app now or visit SeatGeek.com to get tickets to sports, concerts, and live events and make your butt happy. SeatGeek. Get your seat in a seat.
The Cowboys way, where 16 Hall of Famers and 5 championships shows us what success looks like. Where turkey is always the second best part of Thanksgiving Day. Where we are all defined by one single thing, the star. Where we as fans know it's our job to keep the tradition going. Bank of America is proud to be the official bank of the Dallas Cowboys and to support the quest of living life the Cowboys way. Copyright 2020, Bank of America Corporation.
Attention Cowboys fans looking for the best shave of your life. There's a new official razor of the Dallas Cowboys, Shave Logic. Imagine not having to buy blades as often and getting more smooth shaves than your old razor, guaranteed or your money back. After more than 10 years of research and over 150 company patents, ShaveLogic is proud to offer Cowboys fans a special offer. For a limited time, visit ShaveLogic.com and get a free $10 gift card with your purchase. Go to ShaveLogic.com now for more smooth shaves guaranteed.
Back to Hangin' with the Boys.
Welcome back to Hanging with the Boys. I'm joined by 3-time Super Bowl champion Nate Newton, my boy, as Heckma would say. What do you say? Called you Beak? What does it call you? Beacon 900 Beacon score. But this segment of Hanging with the Boys, I got my boy Chris Beam in the back doing this thing. This segment is brought to you by Wingstop, where flavor gets its wings. And don't forget, tomorrow, 8:24, ESPN's First Take will be here. Cowboy fans, come out and represent Cowboy Nation as ESPN's First Take, featuring Stephen A. Smith, Molly Quorum, and the second 88 of the crew. There's 4 of them now. The second 88 of the crew, Michael Irvin, filmed in front of a live audience at the Star in Frisco this Thursday, August 25th from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. See Jerry Jones. This will be the first time Jerry Jones and Stephen A. Smith will get to see each other. The Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders, be ready for the questions for Stephen A. Smith. For more information, visit thestarinfrisco.com. All right.
We made computer mad.
We did? What are you mad about?
He said, so I guess we shouldn't play the season since they didn't play all the starters. Everything is so bad. What we do is, should we even watch the games this season?
No. So here's the thing that people have to. No, we're not calling this computer. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. Computer. Here's the thing that you have to understand. What our job is. Our job is to objectively look at all things. Not always have, hope is fine, optimism is fine, but on the other spectrum of both of those is the truth. And while we can have hope and optimism, we also have to sprinkle in a little bit of truth. And again, if you told me this team was NFC championship bound 3-4 years in a row, I'd be like, hey, they got a formula. Let them rock it out. Mm-hmm. They no, whatever they want, whatever coaches and front office people want to do, it's working. But we don't. Computer, we don't have a formula. we don't have anything sustainable, computer. We don't have anything for 26, 27 years, computer. We have not figured this thing out. And so everything that we have to do objectively here is sitting in these seats and look at the picture in its totality. So we're looking at this thing and saying, what is it that we can possibly do? Are we turning over every single stone? Are we looking under every single rock? Are we checking the high hedges and the low bushes to make sure that we're not missing an opportunity to get better? Because contrary to popular belief, computer, every day that you're not getting better, you're getting worse. And this team, this current football team, this franchise has not done enough in the last couple years to give themselves the benefit of the doubt of us not looking at every single thing in the lens of trying to figure out where can we get better. There is no history of that, computer. We have looked and we have looked and we have looked and we've come up short. I don't know if you've been noticing that once we get into mid-January, most of the guys on our football team on this roster, computer, are in Cabo. They're not heading off to somewhere else to get ready for a football game. They're handing out black trash bags, and they're doing their exit interviews, computer. So, no, we're not saying that you're not supposed to watch the season, but what I am saying to you that on this show, on Hanging with the Boys, we will always look at things as a totality from both sides. Yes, there are some good things. Yes, there are some bad things. And we're trying to figure out the best way that we possibly can, putting our brains together as small as they may be, to figure out what we can do as a unit to have some prosperity when January comes, when good football players are playing, when good football franchises are playing, computer. That's what we're going to do. So you do what you want with your free time throughout the year on Sundays, but I know if we don't find a way to fix this now, you'll have a lot of free time come mid-January. You won't have to worry about watching no games because we won't be playing any.
Wow.
Got all upset there.
Why is Jesse screaming at our one listener?
Sorry. Because computer stands for a whole lot of people.
This is what I will always do, and Jesse does a great job of it, and Kurt presents the right questions, to get us sparked and going. And Shannon is Shannon. But anyway.
If we're going to be the people show, we can't scream at the people.
Yeah, we can. That makes us the people show.
He's Stephen A. him. He's making sure Stephen A. don't get none of his thunder. This is what I've always tried to do.
Dougie Fresh said he wanted a soundbite.
Yeah.
You're welcome, Dougie Fresh.
Computer, you know me. Come Sunday. I come when we do the schedule. You know what my record going to say, computer. You know what I'm going to say every Friday. I see a way we can win. But will they be dedicated as a team to give themselves a chance to win that way? I doubt it, because the truth is, and I told these guys before we got on air, it's no difference between our quarterback not playing and our offensive line not being as one, because they're all connected. If we don't know who our offensive linemen are, if we don't have no unity on the offensive line, all we're going to be seeing is Dak throwing 3 and 5 step drops. And once a team locks onto that, we are through. Now, they say they're going to run the ball. But Tyler Smith is hurt. Didn't practice yesterday. Connor McGovern is playing center. He's playing right guard. He's playing so left guard. So maybe that's saying, hey, don't be an idiot, Nate. Tyler is your starter. Well, okay, does he know the plays? Because a quarterback or any player or any coach will tell you that one play that you don't know may wreck our whole season. Mm-hmm. So where do we stand? And that's my issue. So I'm going to have to lean with Jesse on this. And until you fix that offensive line, you're wrecking your whole team.
And that's what we call a professional segue, because it brings us back to 53-man battles.
Yeah.
As you head to this final preseason game, most of the coaches, all teams are looking at how can we solidify our roster? Who are guys on the bubble? Who are guys that have a chance? Who are guys who don't have a chance? Who are guys who are playing for other teams? But Nate, I'll ask you, at this point in time of training camp, we're in preseason game number 3. We're cutting this thing down after this week to 53 guys, from 80 to 53. Give me a percentage from 0 to 100% of how much already, before we even play Friday, how much already does this front office and this coaching staff have a team assembled? What percentage do you say, you know what, they know?
87%.
87%.
87%.
That's a great number.
Yeah, because they said during opening ceremonies, you guys heard it, we now, due to the lack of preseason games, due to the lack of being able to see these players, we have to project more now than we ever have at players of who we want to keep, who we want to get rid of. they got to be at 87%. Because if you don't know now, going into this game, I promise you it ain't going to change nothing, because it ain't changed nothing the last game because no veterans played. It ain't changed nothing the game before because ain't no veterans played. So you got to know between these guys that you've been let play, the second-year guy, first-year guys, second-year guys, injured guys, you got to know. Like Dante Fowler, you got to know. You let him start 2 games. You got to know. You can't say, well, we still need to look at Dante. If you're looking at him now against fourth teamers, you need to get rid of him.
Wow. Yeah, I'd at least 87%.
Yeah, they gotta be.
They probably
They
know.
gotta be.
Number. I was 87. I wasn't, if you told me you say 80, but I wouldn't thought 87%.
Yeah, well, you want to round it off?
No,
We can go to 85, we can go to 90.
no,
Whichever
90.
one. Yeah.
87% you said. I like it.
What are you feeling, Kurt? What are you feeling?
Yeah, it's typical though. I think at this point they know most of the roster. There's a handful of guys at the end are on that bubble. They're like, well, I mean, you were one of those guys. You were right. They didn't know that very last game, and it meant a lot to you, obviously. So, but at this point, yeah, it's pretty much said. But that's not to say this last game isn't important. Because again, you experienced that firsthand. So.
No, I get it, and there are a ton of guys who are looking to make a football roster, and when you look. One of the positions that I woke up this morning, I was just thinking about, and one of my good friends, Skip Pete, who was the running back coach here for the Cowboys, and was the running back coach when I was playing back for the Cowboys. Skip has a tough decision.
Yeah.
Like, Skip has a tough decision. The Cowboys have a tough decision because you look at the running back room, that's one of the rooms where it is thick.
But it's 16 practice player spots.
Right, it's 16. But now here's the thing that you have to go and look. Okay, we already know that they're keeping Zeke. Money says that.
Yeah.
We already know they're keeping Tony Pollard. Right. Productivity says that. Now it's been this battle all training camp long, all preseason long, with a guy like Rico Dowdle and Malik Davis. Do the Cowboys keep 4 running backs?
No.
Can they keep 4 running backs?
No.
Well, I mean, last year they kept 3 and a fullback. I mean, that's a different position, but I mean, they need.
But
they got so much depth at other positions, they probably have to hold on to there, right?
I mean, well, you look around and you're saying, how confident are you? Like, if you let Nate tell you that he's not very confident in the offensive line. So, you know, for every running back spot that you keep, that's another spot that has to go away from somewhere, right? So your receiver spot, you're saying Tolbert, you're saying CeeDee Lamb, right?
Noah Brown.
You're showing Noah Brown, you're saying Jalen Tolbert, right? That's your first 3. Dennis Houston has made his way into the mix. Well, you know, Devin Hester, Cavante Turpin has they've dubbed him the next Deion Sanders. How? I have no freaking idea. So that's 5, and now Simi Fehoko, are you keeping him?
Because you got to save room for Washington, and you got to save room for.
They've got to be. They have to be on the 53.
Washington has to be on the 53 of the at the end.
So that's 7. That's 7 right there.
Yeah.
And then now, if you do not pup Michael Gallup, he's on your roster.
Yeah.
If you pup him, he has to automatically miss 4 games and doesn't take a roster spot. But when he comes back, he needs a roster spot.
Yeah.
So that's 8.
Yeah, that's a lot.
And I didn't even did I even mention Simi Fehoko?
Yeah, I think you did.
Did I? Okay. So, you know, defensive line. There's a lot of guys there.
They're going to have to play some tricks with that roster management shuffling when they cut to 53.
No, they don't. All you got to do is get one run-stopping defensive tackle. You got to pick the best guy that out of Gallimore, out of Osa. Those are your two guys starting. Now you got Bohannon and you got the guy what's that guy? Tristan had a great training camp.
You drafted Ridgeway.
Somebody's gonna get traded. I promise you, they beating the phones up now. One of these guys gonna get traded. But the thing is, fellas, you have to put the question to yourself. They've had great camps, but when we play Tampa Bay, we play Cincinnati, are we gonna stop the run? Because all you guys flying up the field don't do me no good if we can't stop the run. Which one? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Which one of these guys are truly going to dedicate their game to number one being a run stopper? So that's what I'm having a hard time at. Chris, you seen anything in camp?
For a run stopper?
Yeah, because everybody can. In Ridgeway, I mean, I know they like him, but I'm waiting for him to show up.
Yeah. He's kind of on the bubble.
I think Gallimore's your run stopper, don't you think?
I'm praying he is. But we haven't seen it.
Preseason game.
Yeah.
I mean, he was hitting guys 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage.
I'm with you.
Playing second teamers, wasn't he?
Yeah, I'm with you.
And then you hear a lot about Dorrance Armstrong, right? This is a guy who, not a run stopper, but this is a guy who they basically treated Dorrance Armstrong as if
he hadn't been playing.
He been on the sideline sitting next to guys who who actually went to Pro Bowls.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be: do you keep 3 tight ends? Do you keep Dalton Schultz and Jake Ferguson and McKeon? Like
yeah, and they're saying that other rookie might probably
what's his name? Yeah, Vendershot. He's had a good training camp.
Yeah.
Man, let me tell y'all something.
I love it. So here's for those who are new to our show, or those who don't pay attention to a little bit of the things that happen during our show. When Nate says 2 phrases, when Nate says, "Listen to me," and when Nate says, "Let me tell y'all something," that's when you turn up your speaker and really lock in, because Nate's getting ready to drop a bomb on us. So when Nate says, "Let me tell y'all something," we shut up, and you should shut up and listen to what Nate has to say. So, Nate, I'm going to shut up. Tell us something.
No, I already told excuse me, I'm sorry. I've already said it. I said it since the first day of training camp when we was doing the shows together, from out there. If we don't figure out this offensive line, what is it going to be we don't have to worry about who's Semi for Hoko. We don't have to worry about Dennis Houston because none of these guys will ever get into a rhythm because your quarterback will be running for his life.
All right, so let me ask you this offensive line question. And I said this all training camp. I exclude anything that Micah Parsons does to a person as the standard.
Yeah.
Right.
If Micah, like yesterday, Micah runs around and destroys Tyron Smith.
Right.
I exclude that from that's not even. I don't even count that because Micah, to me, I've put Micah on a different plateau. I put him on. He's just going to tear somebody up regardless. Now,
we didn't see. Tyron might have stuffed him the other 4 times or whatever.
It might have, but we saw that play.
Yeah.
But we know what Tyron is as the guy who can't kind of stay healthy.
Right.
Have we come to a place, and I'm posing and asking the question, have we come to a place where Father Time has begun to dominate Tyron Smith? Is he the great Tyron Smith of old that we remember? And I'm not saying he has to be young Tyron Smith, but do we still count him as a guy that can go out there and just be like, nah, he unbeatable?
Let me say this. Can you look up his last 5 years, how many games he played the last 5 years? This is what I say about Tyron. And I hate that. This is beginning to bother me with the Cowboys. If he's healthy, he's still one of the best. He's still in the top 10 tackles. He's still a top 10 tackle.
Yeah.
For the 12, from the 10 to 12 games he played, depending on what year, he's still a top 10 left tackle. So what do you do? I mean, is this money so big or so small so you can't get rid of him or you don't want to get? But he's still a beast.
Yeah,
he's still a beast, man.
I mean, his first 5 years he missed 1 game. Then he went 4 years of playing 13 games in each of those 4. Then 2020 he only played 2. He's hurt, and then last year. He missed 6 games, but he hadn't played a full season since 2015.
Yeah, so, I mean.
But, again, when he's healthy,
you can't pull the plug on him
in there. Yeah,
because you have not Josh Ball, whoever else you want to put out there.
Why aren't they looking for somebody else.
And nobody's out there.
I mean, there's not another Tyron Smith out there, but there's some guy, Eric Fisher's out there, Nate Soldier's out there,
Nate Soldier. I mean,
they're not
Nate
great.
Soldier is not the guy we saw nowhere, even with the Giants. My friend, believe me, they over there saying Josh Ball is not it. I promise you, they're saying this guy is not it. The backup to him is not it. They are looking. They are tearing up phones. And I'm telling you guys, one of these defensive linemen, they're going to have to give up. Or they're going to have to package something with him and say, hey, man, we'll take your swing tackle. Because they are not out there. If they were, believe me, if they haven't seen the same films we've seen these 3 preseason games against second and third and fourth teamers, it's one thing to be a second and third teamer, but when you beating up the other team's second and third teamer, you feel good. But we haven't beat up the other team's second and third teamer. Not at left tackle.
Man, I agree. They need to.
They're looking, man.
They need to use probably some of this depth of defensive line or cornerback or somewhere to find them.
Don't get rid of cornerback.
Well, I don't know if they can
Never
keep them
get
all.
rid of corners.
I don't know if they can keep them all. That's the thing.
They better try.
But they need to do something to try to bring in a tackle.
If you have to get rid of running back, keep the corners.
I think the 2 positions. This is just Jesse Holland thinking. The 2 positions you try to find as many good ones as you possibly can and keep on your roster is offensive line and cornerback.
Yes, sir. You better.
I totally agree. You need a ton of quarterbacks, but are they going to be able to keep all these guys? And if they can't, do they need to use one of those assets to get in a tackle?
A tackle with a draft pick. I mean, because ain't nobody giving these people up, man.
And rightfully so, right? Because there are a lot of teams, believe it or not, who are in the same. Yeah. You think Tampa don't want some offensive linemen right now?
Yeah.
Like Tampa,
they lost the center.
The same phone call that we trying to make about offensive linemen, or guards, or tackles, or centers. There's a bunch of other teams on the phone like, hey, what y'all got? Yeah. And there are going to be a bunch of people looking across the waiver wire saying, what is out there? What we're going to do? How we're going to be able to fill these gaps?
Yeah, if you could get a quality, like you felt, a quality lineman, would you trade a guy? Would you trade a Kelvin Joseph?
Yeah, I would, because I'm looking for the other kid now, Bradley. Got that right now?
You talking about Bland?
Bland, yeah. I'm looking for him. I'm looking for him.
So I mean, there's so much to discuss, and we'll do our very best to kind of work through this roster.
Well, maybe we need to call a computer. He'll fix it all.
We're not calling a computer. Not while I'm hosting.
Computer love.
Not while I'm Houston. No offense against your Houston computer. We'll call you another time. Not today. When we come back, we'll talk about Kevontae Turpin. Is he real, or I should say, is he special teams or not? So stay right here with us, hanging with the boys.
Brace yourself for an existential question. Has your butt been having enough fun lately? Have you been treating it well? Has it been going places? If not, then it's about time you start using SeatGeek. SeatGeek is the best way to get your butt tickets to live events. Just ask the thousands of other butts who have rated it the #1 ticketing app. So what are you waiting for? Download the app now or visit SeatGeek.com to get tickets to sports, concerts, and live events and make your butt happy. SeatGeek. Get your seat in a seat.
Nobody protects you from mayhem like Allstate. I'm a broken traffic light. Stop and go is the name of my game. It's easy. You go, they go. What was it? They go, you go? And if you have the wrong car insurance, these repair costs could stop you in your tracks. So get Allstate's new low auto rate and be better protected from mayhem, like me.
Not available in every state, based on coverage and limits selected. Subject to terms, conditions, and availability. In most states, prices vary based on how you buy. Allstate Bar and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Hey, Cowboys fans, if you're thinking about attending a game this season, visit cowboystravel.com to book your travel package today. Stay at the team hotel, have dinner with a Cowboys legend, and experience AT&T Stadium's exclusive VIP Owners Club. Also, tour the Star, get autographs from your favorite players, and talk X's and O's with me, Mickey Spagnola. The official travel partner of the Dallas Cowboys will take care of all your travel needs. Visit cowboystravel.com.
With Smoothie King's original Angel Food and new Angel Food Slim without added sugar, you no longer have to choose between treating yourself and hitting your goals this summer. You don't have to choose between great taste and feeling great. Because at Smoothie King, every blend is made with whole fruits and no syrups, so you can satisfy your cravings without compromise. The only choice you will need to make is which one is best for you. Try our classic Angel Food or the new Angel Food Slim, blended without added sugar. Smoothie King, rule the day.
Back to Hanging with the Boys.
Welcome back. The last segment of Hanging with the Boys. Thank you so much for spending your time. You could have been anywhere in the world, but I appreciate you being here with us. Myself, Emmy nominated. Can I say that to myself?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Okay. Emmy nominated Jesse Holly, 3-time Super Bowl champion Nate Newton, 900 credit score Kurt Daniels. I love that. Heckman gave us gold with that one. This segment is brought to you by Blockchain. That's all it says. This segment is brought to you by Blockchain. They don't have nothing special to say about that. Blockchain. I think, is Dak now a Blockchain sponsor?
Yes, just signed a big deal.
Yeah, that's the one thing about being a quarterback. One, chicks dig quarterbacks. Chicks dig the long ball, right? Like, so already your snapper rate goes through the roof. And I know I'm not talking about Dak. He already got a lady. But when you're the quarterback, even if you're ugly, you still get mad play because you're the quarterback. And then if you're the quarterback of a really good franchise, it doesn't make a difference whether you're a terrible franchise or a great franchise. You get all the endorsement deals. Like Dak makes so much money in endorsements. Oh. It's stupid.
Yeah.
And then because you're like, everyone wants to be a part of the Cowboys, win, lose, or draw, because they're going to bring eyeballs to the product.
Yep.
And then when you're the guy who is centered of said organization, you get all of the opportunities to make all of the monies. And Dak is making all of the monies. Before we get into this, I want you guys' thoughts on this. Because when I was a youngster running around in the streets, one of my OGs used to always tell me, he said, Wood, my nickname was Hollywood. He would say, Wood, slow down. And he would say, slow down. No, listen to me. Listen, I didn't give that name. They gave that name to me. He'd say, Wood, slow down. He would say, all money ain't good money. You heard that term before? All money ain't good money.
Yeah, I lived that term for me.
All money ain't good money. So today, it comes out Undisputed. That's the show on, was it FS1?
Yeah.
Which Uncle Shannon, Uncle Shay,
yeah,
and Skip Bayless. Mm-hmm. Do you know? Have you seen this, Nate?
No.
All right, perfect. So I'll let you guess. Take a wild guess. Who's going to be a weekly guest on that said show?
On their show?
On their show. From this team.
Oh, it's going to be the man you just talked about.
Who? Dak?
Yeah.
No.
Jerry?
No. Dak, I don't think, after what Skip said about Dak, I don't think Dak would ever do his show.
Oh, okay.
But.
Who is it?
Give you one more guess.
What position?
That's
the dead giveaway.
Yeah, that's a dead giveaway.
I can't tell you if it ain't C.D. Lamb. I just can't tell you, man.
Micah Parsons.
Wow.
Micah Parsons.
We've been trained around here never to think defense. Always offense. Yep.
Yeah. Micah Parsons will be doing a weekly spot on that show. And I, for one, I'm never going to tell anybody how or when to get their cheddar. Get it, young man, get it.
Yeah.
I don't like this. I don't. I don't think this money is good money. Especially now, if there's something that Micah wants to say, not only do we have multiple shows that we can do this week in this
but
building.
You ain't paying him now.
I get you. I get you. Sure. I get you. But I just think the level of toxicity. Did I say that right? Toxicity.
Yeah.
The level of toxicity that comes along with that brand.
Yeah.
Is going to have some wild spins. And I think this is just old Jay Holly.
Hollywood.
This is just old Wood.
Yeah.
I think we'll create some level of distraction. Because that show, and partly maybe that human who's a part of that show has been known to take things and abuse them and to be scummy about them.
Yeah.
And
I ain't never known Sean to do that.
Well,
Sharp, I ain't never known Sharp to do that.
Yeah.
He's had his moments.
But I just felt like if there were other places that Micah could have went to voice whatever it is he felt that he needed to voice, that would have been the last place that I chose for him to actually go. I don't see much good coming out of it, and I hope I'm wrong. I really do hope that I'm wrong about it, but history says with that dude that I'm not. Thoughts?
Sharp? You talking about the tight end Sharp?
I'm not talking about Uncle Shea.
I mean, I think most people probably would prefer he not have ties with that show, but like you said, he's young, chasing the money.
Undisputed.
Getting that money while he can.
Get your money, young lion. Get your money, young lion. Get your money. All right, so we'll kind of end this thing with last week. Well, let's go back to the springtime. The Cowboys signed Kevontae Turpin. Kevontae Turpin was a TCU graduate. Was kind of all around in different leagues and different. He was everywhere.
Crazy, yeah.
He was everywhere.
He was young Nate Newton, just bouncing around.
Just everywhere.
Bouncing around.
The USFL comes around. He's on the USFL, becomes the USFL MVP.
Yeah.
Had about 589 total receiving yards and became the USL MVP. I don't know if it was Bones Fossil who had their eye on him or it was scouts that had their eye on him. But anyway,
Fossil.
They sign him to a 3-year deal, bring him to the Cowboys, and they're saying this guy's going to have the opportunity to be our returner, our gadget guy, speed guy. First time we see him out there in the preseason, we're like, all right, what is he going to do? Does nothing.
He was waiting on the speed of the game.
And he said,
just researching it.
I just wanted to see how the game, I never played in the speed of the game before this level, and I wanted to see how, but next time I'm going to go. Then we played the LA Chargers, and boom.
Yep.
Like a man smoking at a gas station.
What's the setup here, man?
Like a man.
What's the setup here, man?
There is no setup, Nate.
Yeah, it is.
Like a man smoking at a gas station.
Wow. He ready to explode. He blew up. He blew up.
Punt return for a touchdown. Kick return for a touchdown.
He thought he was throwing it in the diesel and messed around and hit high performance octane.
Played so good, they say, you're not even going to play the second half. Take your pads off. And here now we have Kevontae Turpin, Turpentine, not Turpentine, Turpentine.
He do taste bad if you don't know it's opposite team, though.
And so this is a guy now that you have to account for.
Right.
Whether it be on special teams or hopefully a receiver. Is this guy special or not? Nate?
I'm waving at the fans. That's how special they are. Hi, how y'all doing?
So
Y'all go ahead on the top.
So this is when Nate doesn't want to answer a question. He does stuff like that.
I think he has special talents.
Are they the gorillas outside the cage?
I don't know.
Hi, look how they wave.
They're definitely looking at you as the gorilla.
Yeah, I'm a gorilla.
I promise you.
What's up? That's Jesse Holly. He's gonna win an Emmy or a Grammy or something. Yeah.
He's a distractible player. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen.
He's a distractible player. So, Kurt, while Nate is being distracted
The gorilla.
Caesar. Kevontae Turpin.
Yeah, I mean, he's always got special talents. He's fast as hell, and it's just proven he can be a returner. But I mean, there's, like we talked about before, there's the question of can he hold up over the whole season, and I think there's also a question, does he take that spot on game day? Who's out? If he's your kick returner, he's got to be. If he's your punt returner, he's got to be both, right? I mean, you can't have a guy on there just to be one or the other on game day, can you?
He's not that special because if he's not doing both, you're wasting the roster spot.
Yeah, I mean, he has to do both. And if he's doing kickoff returns, and Pollard had been your kickoff return, they've been saying they want to get the ball in his hands. Well, that's one less thing he's got going. So it's an interesting situation how they might use him, because I would think if he's going to return one, he's got to do both. Otherwise, he's not worth the roster spot.
Special, Nate? Is he special?
Nope. Not yet. I mean, and Chris Beam showed me some stuff he did in college. Everywhere he's been special. And he showed in preseason that he's special. But what I have to see, especially with this early season, are we going to just use him? I would take him like Jimmy Johnson would say, he's faster than everybody. So once a quarter, I'm throwing him that deep crossover that you're talking about. Yeah. I'm throwing him a 9 at least once a quarter. You gonna back up. And that's going to open up everything underneath. You going back
but
up.
See,
think they'll use him on offense that much?
Just 4 times?
My thing is this, is 5'7". So when you talk about throwing a go ball, it's not like, even when you throw it to Alvin Harper, he's at least 6'1".
Right.
There is some size to that.
Yeah.
Even Tyreek Hill's a little bit bigger than 5'7".
But Jesse, these people in the NFL be like, until you show us, we're not respecting you.
Right.
You're going to have some throwaway plays trying to set up other plays. Let that be one, at least in the first quarter or the second quarter. Let that be one. Man, I have to try. I have to try.
Okay.
I have to try. If you run 4-0 and you set it up, one guy, put him in that slot, tight end dragging across, he either going into that, I'm talking about when we're on our side of the 40.
Right.
I'm on their side of the 40. No, our side of the 40. I got to try once. Either taking him straight down the field, because when he line up in there the next time, you got CeeDee Lamb or you got Houston, who's a better route runner, maybe got better hands and bigger. It's going to open up something.
He's going to be on the game day roster. They have to use him in some kind of situations on offense, don't
because
they?
we just going to jet sweep him. The defensive end's like, oh, they're going to do take 2 steps out and just wait on it. But then again, you can still run the draw from that. He is a threat, man.
And that's what you've seen, you've kind of seen in practice where they'll jet sweep and then throw back to where he came from. And on defensively, anytime, so just kind of, for the fans, when you look at shifting on defenses shift and go from weak to strong to weak.
Right.
So when that receiver goes from one side and the shift does not happen until he passes the center or quarterback, right? That center. Right. So once you pass the center, you now change the strength. So when you see these fake jet sweeps, what you're looking for is when you watch the snap of the ball tries to get snapped as soon as he gets to the guard, but opposite the way he came. Because what happens now is I catch that offensive line and the linebacker's taking that shift over. Because my strength has now changed. And if I can catch them in that shift, I get them off balance. Maybe I get a guy kind of on the edge a little bit more, and so on and so forth. So, I mean, there are some ways that you can use him to benefit your offense. I think the only question that I have about Cavante, and I think it's the resounding question about him, is durability.
You know what?
Because you say 5'7", 155 pounds, who's already played, while other cats was resting and recovering and getting themselves primed for a season, he was literally in the midst of one.
How many plays will he play a game?
I don't know.
10 at the most?
I don't know, Nate. But you're not talking about a dude who has a ton of – but in those 10 plays, kickoffs can be pretty physical. Punts can be pretty physical. My only concern is, does he have the durability to last
10
you
plays.
17 weeks?
10 plays times 17. 10 plays, I don't know how much
that's
that
170,
is.
Nate. That's simple math.
Let me say it, and that's great you got the simple math. But if that's going to be an issue, he's not special. Because you're saying we're signing this guy because he's shown to be durable. We're going to use him 10 plays a game. We're going to run him straight down the field, whether they throw him the ball or not, or we're going to drag him, like you said, across. If this dude can't get us 10 plays a game, what is this? For that one touchdown? No, sir. And then he hurt the rest of it? No, sir. This dude is shown to be durable. Chris Beam, what do you think? This is your Big 12 brother. What you think? Well,
I guess that's an ender.
I have to turn stuff down here to talk to you, Nate.
What do you think?
Well, I was looking up how many punts we got against us last year, and if they have to punt away from us, it's well worth it, in my opinion.
Thank you.
They're not going to be punting at this guy, knowing what they saw in the preseason.
What you think, Jesse? They going to punt at him?
Am I right?
No, I wouldn't punt at him.
All right.
No, I wouldn't. And you know, I got into a kind of debate with people on Twitter about, you know, because of course, this is what Cowboy fans do. They go and they have a guy do something good in the preseason, and then they're like, oh, he's the next. And they're like, whoa. And I as I said, you know, it's what is he going to be able to bring? Because if they're not going to punt to him, they're like, well, Devin Hester. And I go, well, Devin Hester had kickoff returns, and that was Devin Hester when he was playing.
Devin Hester was thick something.
He was, but Devin Hester also, they kicked the ball back 10 yards than what Devin Hester was. See, now the ball has moved up 10 yards. So you don't get many kickoffs now. The starting kickers kicks out of the back of the end zone. And most of the time, I promise you, when Devin Hester got punts to him, they were probably dumb decisions, or So the best you can count on is some people say like, well, they'll shake it, and yes, you will get good position, but I don't think you're going to get many opportunities.
And it's all in our favor.
Yeah.
So when you sign this guy,
especially when you got guys punting the ball 80 yards now.
Yeah.
I mean, so we'll see. We'll see what happens. But do we got a show Friday? No, because of the game.
There is a game on Friday, so no, you do not have one.
So no game, no show on Friday. This is our last show of the week. I don't think we have a show or any shows next week.
Yeah, you do.
Oh, we do.
You have a show on Monday.
Well, we do have a show on Monday.
Monday, Wednesday, Friday next week.
Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 1 o'clock.
Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So come back. We'll talk about the game. We'll talk about what we saw, what we didn't see, what we like, who we think made
I know. I can tell you one thing. We will not be talking about. Our quarterback will not play.
Yeah, we know that. we know that.
I thought I'd throw that out there, Kurt.
I don't think Parsons
I know my credit rating ain't a number 9, but
yeah, like Parsons probably won't play, and Dak probably won't play.
What you got? Was you a high 9?
Who?
Your credit rating?
I wish. I'm like 7.
They say Kurt drive by a bank and you see the bank manager running out there.
I wish.
Hey, Mr. Daniels.
I wish.
Kurt is up there. But yes, so come back and we'll talk about everything that happened in the game on Friday. For myself, Jesse Holly, Kurt Daniels, Nate Newton, Chris Beam, what's his name, Bro Willie? Is his name
Bro Will.
Willie.
Bro
Will. I ain't going to call him Willie, man. I ain't going to do
Willie.
it. Bro Will.
We had power today.
Yes.
Hopefully our show gets uploaded.
And we're going to get new headsets, Shannon.
Shannon really stressed these headsets out. This is ridiculous. This is crazy. That's insane that he stressed these headphones out like that. Again, man, thank you guys so much. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you decided to hang with us today. And that does it for us. See you Monday with Hanging with the Boys.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!